Welcome to Fair Weather Gardening with your host, Troy McClure. You may know me from YouTube videos such as the 24-part series, Digging a Hole and Filling It Up Again. So this hugelkultur mound was the site of that 24-part series, and today we're going to plant it out. Now this isn't going to be ideal, because hugelkultur mounds typically won't reach their peak until their second year, and this was only done 2 months ago, and also because we're planting out the giant onions for the giant onion growing challenge, the Ailsae variety, kindly hosted by Peter Ralph. So a hugelkultur mound, it would be a lot better if we were planting out things like courgettes and pumpkins, but we'll plant these onions out because, to be honest, they're a failure. They're a failure the way that I've been growing them. So they were in a double cup, and at the bottom they've been developing mould because I presume because of the lack of air. But the thing is that even the one in this green pot has started getting some mould as well, and that wasn't in a double cup. So I think the polytunnel is the weather's like being too cold, and maybe I should have kept them indoors. But this is hindsight now, because they just haven't been growing, and the double cups method hasn't suited them, because that's best for fast growing plants, and as a lot of us are now realising, onions for most of the time are quite slow growing. So we're going to plant them out on this hugelkultur mound. So we've got 30 plants here, so that's obviously 4 rows of 6, 7, 8 and 9 plants. I think a couple of them are dying, so they'll go up at the bottom on either wing. So they'll be like place savers for pumpkins or whatever. So the goodies that they're being provided with, first and foremost, there's this boron. So that isn't all boron, that's boron tablets. So and they've all been grinded up in a coffee grinder, so only a little bit of that in there is actually the boron. So boron, it will help the calcium reach the end of the leaves and to the top of the plant as well. We're going to be doing some gypsum as well, calcium sulfate, because this mound has still got quite a lot of clay in it. So the calcium sulfate is doing 2 jobs. One, it's providing calcium for the onions, and secondly, as gypsum, it should help break up the clay and make it easier for the onion roots to go through it. I've also got sulfate of ammonia, or in the way that I got taught, ammonium sulfate, and the instructions say to do a handful of it for each plant. So and then also I've got some Epsom salts or magnesium sulfate. So I've got me 3 lots of sulfate as promised, the magnesium sulfate, the ammonium sulfate and the calcium sulfate, to give strong tasting onions here. Now I've got a funny story to tell. My best viewing video, like most of my videos only get about 20 or 30 views, but a fortnight ago I did one on my grow light setup, and I did that for the benefit of Richard, because Richard seemed a little bit lost. So I was trying to show him that growing chilies and peppers was quite easy, and the light setup is quite easy, and that was as well. So I actually recorded that video for the audience of one, being Richard, and also it was a spur of a moment thing. I saw his video and I decided to get up and make my own video. So the funny thing about that video is it's got over 800 views. Now, even though I regard it as one of my most boring videos, even more boring than cutting up brambles. So I think that because the reason I've got over 800 views is that I've had a lot of cannabis growers watching it. So that's actually in return got me watching a couple of cannabis growing videos. So it's from there that I've learned that it's best to apply magnesium as a foliar spray. So that's why the Epsom salt is already dissolved in here, so it can be sprayed onto the leaves, and apparently you can spray it on 2 or 3 times a week, no problem. Because if you apply it through the soil, it's competing with the calcium to get in, because all of these things I've got positive charges like hydrogen, ammonium, NH4 plus, calcium, sodium, potassium. Right, so there's quite a list of things to compete with. So apparently the magnesium gets in better as a foliar spray. So that's what we're going to do. So time to set you up, and I'll just get on with it. There's quite a bit of a breeze today, so I'm thinking that as the plan is still to grow onions that are 1 foot in diameter, that one should be spacing them about 15 inches apart. So that's what I'm going to be going with. I also haven't decided whether to plant the entire contents of the cup in one go, or whether just to plant the onions bare rooted, which I know in theory that would be better, because if the roots are coming up to the interface between that compost and then some horrible clay soil in here, it might just decided I'll stay in the compost. Thank you very much. Okay, so I'll set you up. I apologise for any noise interference from the wind, but you can't do much about it. But it makes it more real if you can't hear me very well. So I'll set you up over here, I think. So there's only just a little bit of mould there, and that's it. I suppose I could bury the mould because something's bound to come along and eat it, but we'll just discard that. And there's more mould along the side there. I think we'll discard a lot of this. Just do the bare roots. See, pathetic little plants. I'll have to apply everything as a top dressing later. obviously, because of the slope, I'm planting them with the compost, or else otherwise they'll be too deep and too susceptible to being covered over with the wood chip. So the way this is looking, this will be courgettes in about 2 months' time. That one was planted on top of a worm, so that should be able to provide some aeration and drainage and somewhere for the roots to go.